Hey everybody, welcome. It is Wednesday. It's 5 o'clock. Turn the music down a little bit. I don't own the rights to this music, but it sure sounds good in the background. Welcome to Own Again, our weekly real estate lifestyle show. You may be watching me here on Facebook Live. You may be watching us on YouTube. You may be watching us on LinkedIn. You may be watching us on an email that we've sent you. So just welcome. I'm excited to be back. As you guys know, last week we didn't have a show. We didn't have a show because I was on vacation and it was an awesome time. So I'm going to do our regular welcome. You can see it below. Please let StreamYard access your account so I can know who I'm talking to. Okay. I look forward to having a conversation today about an amazing real estate topic. All of our topics are exciting. And I know that because I get feedback, I get emails, I get DMs, I get text messages. So it's exciting to know that you're listening. It's exciting to know that the information is valuable. It's exciting to know that when we come here live weekly, that you leave with some great, valuable information. And as we posted last week, if there is something you want to know about, you want to hear about, you want me to talk about, you can drop it in the comments or directly message me, and we will create an Own Again show around that so that we can discuss what you're interested in. So I try to do a good job based on the clients that I'm working with, based on the questions I get from home buyer seminars, based on what's going on in the market. So today we're actually going to talk about old homes or new homes. And I'm actually an expert with that thing because I've had them both. So I'm going to give you some data. I'm going to give you some of my life experiences. And I'm also going to look for you guys to chime in and share some of your questions or your experiences with either one. So I can see we got a couple folks here. If you get a chance, say hi. So I'll know that you're here. I'll get a chance to see it on the comments. Let me click on comments real quick. So, hey, Cynthia, good to see you. Did we return your call last week? I was out the country. So yes, I had an amazing vacation in the Dominican Republic, and I promised everybody there that I would tell you guys it's safe. They did an amazing job keeping us safe. If you're comfortable, get out there, get in the pool, go to a beach, sneak on a vacation, do what you need to do within your comfort level, okay? As you guys know, this is a busy time in real estate. Hey, Joe, thank you so much. It's great to be back. And as you know, this is a busy time for real estate, so I won't get another break probably until September. But it is good to start the real estate busy season off with a vacation. So definitely, guys, let me know what you are thinking about, questions that you may have. I actually had a call today from one of my regular Own Again guests that hops onto our show thinking about selling, renting, and buying. And I told them it's a great strategy today. So if that's something you want to just talk one-on-one, you guys know how to reach me. You can reach me through social, or you can reach me directly by calling me at 443-744-0206. You may hear me take a quick stop and sip because I have a little bit of a residual cold, and so my voice is choking up a little bit. So welcome. So today I'm going to go ahead and stop the music. Okay. Awesome. So today, as I mentioned, we're talking about old or new homes. My name is Gersha Porter. I am the CEO of Porter Premier Homes. The brokerage that I affiliate with is Cummings and Company. And I eliminate confusion for buyers by giving them key strategies to unlock resources to purchase their dream home You can search for your dream home in the easiest way, because most of you can remember my name. Just go to gershreporter.com and you can click on the top tab that says search for your dream home. You'll get a chance to see what's on the market. Another thing I just wanted to mention, if you don't have my HomeSnap app, it's called HomeSnap, kind of looks like this. It'll give you information about properties that are on the market. Let's say you drove by a street and you see a sign and you said, I wonder how much that house costs. You're able to look it up yourself. This information is tied to the multiple list system. So when you connect with me and just let me know, I'll connect with you. You will be able to access real-time information that's updated every 10 to 15 minutes. It's accurate. It will give you what you need to make a decision or just to satisfy your curiosity. Okay, so absolutely you will have a pulse on the market. So today we're going to talk about new homes versus old homes. Like I mentioned, I am in an old home now. Yes, I'm probably on house number 6. I'm going to count one of these days. But older homes can generally cost less than new homes. However, they are really many cases where new homes can also cost less than older homes. So a year and a half ago, you guys know my story. I bought an older home. I bought a 1950s home. Prior to that, I lived in a custom home, brand new. Before that, I lived in what we call a spec home. It was built by Ryan Home. When I met my husband, LaFawn, he owned a home that was about a year old, townhome that was built in the city. And we lived in there during our first couple of years of marriage. So far, I went from kind of new to new to new to 10 years old, and now I'm in a 1950s house. Okay, so I've had a little bit of experience, but it's really just a matter of preference. Both newer and older homes offer distinct advantages depending on your unique taste and your lifestyle. So, my life has changed. I went from no children to schools being super important, to distance from neighbors being really, really important. As I mentioned, schools were a factor. Commute was a factor. At one point, I lived in Owings Mills, Maryland, and I worked at CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield, and my commute was about 10 minutes. It took longer for me to get to the daycare mom and back to work than it took for me to get to work. So depending on where you are, really, in your lifestyle, do you need to drop off at daycare and then get to work, or are you going straight to work? Today, are you working from home? And I hope that a lot of you have been able to take advantage of this time and maybe continue to take advantage of this time. So, older homes can generally cost less than new homes. However, there are many cases where a new home can also cost less than an older home. So, today in our market, you guys know I'm telling you over and over again, we are in a seller's market. And what does that mean? A seller's market is a market in which we have a lot of buyers and not a lot of homes. So the inventory is low for buyers. And buyers that I've been working with, and I do have a good bit of folks who are ready to purchase homes. They have great interest rates, their credit is good, their job is stable, and they're ready to get out here and buy a home. And what a lot of buyers have oftentimes seen and they get really attracted to is what we call the shiny and new homes. Those that are fully renovated, freshly painted, new floors. Oftentimes the landscaping is done, the exterior might have been updated in some way, and that's what they've been keeping their eyes on. In this market, those homes are getting a lot of attention, which means there are a lot of buyers who want to buy them, and that's driving up the prices. A lot of those are actually renovated homes. They're not brand new. They're 1960s, 1970s, but an investor has gone in and they've updated the kitchen, they've updated the bathroom, they've updated the floor, and they've painted throughout. Some of them, they've updated the plumbing. So now there's PVC valves in there instead of the old copper pipes, right? And so you have a lot of newer features in those homes, even though they may have been built in the 60s or the 50s, right? So most new homes will not have what? What is the one thing when you drive by a new home and you're like, that's such a nice home? They may not have landscaping. That's right. Look at that picture. When you see new homes, they're new. One of the beauties of those new homes right now is they don't have any cicadas. So, depending on when you're watching this video, you may be in the thick of cicadas like we are. So, what I noticed yesterday is when I left home to go to a nearby store to get some takeout salad in a shopping center near here, it's called Foundry Row. It's about 2 years old, I think, maybe three. There are no old trees. When we got there, not one cicada in sight. So, when you have a new home, landscaping is minimal or not existent, okay? Not in existence at all. A lot of builders will put some landscaping in, and they're going to be very small trees and shrubs. Over years, and I mean 5 or 10 years, they're going to grow. So, sometimes when you buy a new home, you won't get any landscaping in the front or in the yard. It really just depends on that lot that you purchase. I recently had a client, she got a new home in Baltimore City that was built. And because it was a number of homes that the builder put in place, they decided that they were going to put in some pretty large trees because the objective was to create kind of a screen so you wouldn't see the existing homes that were behind the new homes. So in his case, that builder decided to put in some pretty large trees. So there are some pros and some cons. If you get a new home, your landscaping may not be there at all, or it's going to be very minimal. I told you guys I have a 1950s house. The trees on this property are over 200 feet tall. So, and I also super duper benefited because the previous owner was an organic gardener. So I inherited amazing landscaping. Our first summer last year, it was a new tree, a new shrub, a new flower. Things were blooming all the time. Even though it was an old home, I benefited from the mature landscaping. So that is one of the things you want to consider. Now, when you say lifestyle, we have quite a landscaping bill because you need to do the fall mulching, your spring cleanup. There is a lot of maintenance when you do have mature landscaping, but just depends on what you might be looking for. The next thing you want to think about is with new or older home, taxes on some older homes may be lower than some of the new homes. And I'll tell you, that has happened to a couple. I have another client, they're building a new home as well in the community in the Owens Mills area. And the taxes sometimes are a little unknown when you put a contract on those homes. That's because the community is new. So when you go in and you're ready to purchase that home, you get what's called an estimated tax. It's not an exact tax. So when you're purchasing a resale, you know somebody lived in that home or at least lived in the home at some point, and the county or the city has already established the taxes. Now, one of the things I really like to share, and this is a nugget that I want you to take, if you purchase a home that is renovated and it was vacant maybe a year or two before that owner purchased it and renovated it, the taxes may reflect what the previous owner paid. Now, here in the Baltimore metropolitan area, senior citizens tend to get a tax break. So, if you purchase a home that was previously owned by a senior citizen, the tax rate or the taxes, those annual taxes that are going to show up, may be discounted because it was a senior. And it's going to get adjusted when you buy it if you don't qualify for that. So just keep that in mind. If you buy a home that is not occupied, it's been renovated, and you don't know the history on the property. And as realtors, we don't know the history either. We don't know who used to own the home. We can pull up the previous tax records to give you an estimate, but you want to make sure that we take a little bit of time. We work really closely with our lenders too. So when you have in your mind a budget, that you want to spend on a home. You say, I want to stick around to 50, and you know what that monthly payment is going to be for you. Let's just say 1,800. That payment, and we've talked about this before, usually includes the principal part of your loan, the interest. The other part are your taxes. Most homeowners will spread their taxes amongst the 12 months out of the year, and it's included in their mortgage. So you want to keep that in mind as we look at the taxes on old versus new homes. Okay. Next point. Let me just see if I got any comments. Any comments? Okay. Okay. If you guys have questions, please do jot them down in the comments, and I will absolutely bring the answer back to you now or after our live. All right. So let's talk about customizing what you want. And it's funny that this came up because I had just decided a day or two ago I'm going to renovate my home office because I purchased an existing home. I brought all the furniture that I had from my other home office and it fit. But this furniture, I've had it for 20 years and it's big and it's bulky and it's dark. And I want to do something different. So the home was painted pretty neutral throughout. But when you buy a new home, you can pick the colors that you want. You can pick the flooring that you want. You can pick the kitchen cabinets, the color of the cabinets, the style. You can actually custom wire for TVs. Now you guys know today, most cable is wireless. So you don't have to worry about those, but some people are still installing speakers. You may want some upgrades, countertops, things like that. So when you look for a new home, you tend to be able to do those things. As I mentioned, I have some clients now. It depends really too on the stage in which you buy the new house. There's some new homes that are what we call immediate delivery. They're ready. They've already been built because the builder built 6 townhomes in a row. These 2 weren't already contracted for, so they put the features in it that they wanted to. So when you go and you buy that, you get what's already been installed. However, if you're purchasing something that has not already been a part of the builder's plan, you get to customize it in the way that you would like. So if you've always wanted your kitchen to be a soft, creamy pink color, you get to pick that color. So continue to keep that in mind with a new home, or I've come across homes in my experience as well that an investor has purchased, and what they do is they go in, they make some initial renovations, and they let the buyer select some of these as well. So it's not a new construction home, but it is a newly renovated home. Okay, so keep that in mind as you begin to think about what you might want. So I see we have a question: discounted homeowners taxes for seniors. Absolutely. I'm going to go back and make sure I put that in the link. So depending on if you're in Baltimore City, Baltimore County, you can go to the Department of Assessment and Taxation website and you want to Google seniors taxes, and you will see how you could go about that. Because seniors tend to pay less taxes. 2 other things I want to bring to your attention if you're already not aware. There is a homestead tax credit, and it's for both owners and, I just learned this year, renters. So if you are renting a home, you have the ability to get a renter's tax credit. And the same thing with homeowners. If you have not gone in annually and completed the information for your homestead tax credit, please do that. And I'll make sure when I go back that I drop the links for those in here for you. Okay, so great question, Joe. So we just talked about picking the things that you want to see in your home when you buy a new home. So the next thing I want to just cover for you guys is older homes. So older homes, unless they've undergone some kind of energy retrofit, they usually can cost more to heat or to cool. Now, you guys know we are in the middle, even though it is June and it is not even officially summer yet. It is hot, hot, hot in Baltimore, and it is humid, humid, humid here. So many of us have been running our air conditioning units. Now, the picture you see here, this is a really tall one. So depending on the last time you had your AC condenser unit, this is what you see outside the home. And when I take buyers out to look at homes, we look at those. We look to see, have they been replaced? Have they been updated and upgraded? Because air conditioning units in the home, the heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and cooling system, HVAC, that system can be new in a home. If it's new, you better believe it's more efficient than an older one. The second component you want to look for is outside. This AC condenser unit, has it been replaced? So, and has it been updated? And you're going to be able to visually see that. Sometimes we see them outside, they have rust on them. I sold a house last year around Christmas time, and the seller, some sellers do it, they actually covered it up for the winter. So when it was pulled open to just do a visual inspection during the home inspection, you could see it was in really good shape. But those sellers were very conscientious and they chose to cover it up during the bad weather. And it will help to keep those units a little bit more pristine and in better shape than if all the elements, the rain and the snow, are hitting those. So, as I said, I'm going to share with you guys when I bought this 1950s home. It had a completely updated and renovated heating and cooling system, and it's called I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna drop it in the chat. But the system that we have here actually has some pipes that go in the front of the house, and it goes back through the system and comes back in. So although it's an older home, the heating and cooling system has been retrofitted. It has been put in such a way to maximize energy. And of course, you know what that means? It saves on our heating and cooling bill. Okay, so this is something you want to consider even if you're visiting or touring a 20-year-old home. If they haven't replaced it, you could believe systems are more efficient now than they've been 15 and 20 years ago. Okay, so we just talked about quite a few things. Older homes that have undergone energy retrofit, picking your own color schemes, taxes on older homes versus newer homes. Also, when you purchase a resale, which we're going to kind of call an older home, versus a new home that's by a builder, one of the expenses that buyers incur when they buy a new construction home is they typically are paying the transfer and recordation taxes, okay, for both the buyer and the seller, or they pay all the transfer and recordation taxes. When you're purchasing a resale, it tends to be split 50-50 between the buyer and the seller. So a new construction property will have more closing costs than a resale. Okay, so there are just so many different things to weigh. That's why you want to talk to somebody who's an expert. So if you are milling it around in your mind, should I buy an older home or new home? I was just looking at a property today for one of my clients. It's about a 25-year-old home. And in your mind, you might say, well, cool, that's a new home. Well, when you go in and you notice that the basement is unfinished, you need to finish that, that the kitchen appliances haven't been updated, that the countertops are not exactly what you may be looking for because they may be Formica and you want something that's more durable, let's say granite or siltstone. You go upstairs in the bathrooms and they have the huge older soaking tubs, a pretty small shower, and then the faucets and things like that are not as updated as you would like. So it's not new construction, it's an older home. And in your mind, you're like, yeah, I love this neighborhood, but I'm going to need to sink about $50,000 in this house to get the new kitchen, to change the flooring out, to update the bathroom. So you want to consider all those things as you weigh a new in an old home. Landscaping is huge. Some of us just buy little flowers. I don't know if you're still on Cynthia. I know Cynthia puts her seasonal flowers out every year. They can run a little bit of money as well, but that's just a seasonal thing. If you needed to put shrubs in, if you needed to put a line of privacy trees in which are evergreens, you're talking about sinking some significant money into landscaping. So if it's important to you, you may be looking for a home that already has what we call mature landscaping. Okay, so consider these items as you look on the market for new homes or old homes, and you are out there looking to own again. So, once again, if you've lost your home to foreclosure, short sale, bankruptcy, or divorce, I'm your girl. Do you want to be coached back to your greatness of being a homeowner? Please join our Facebook group, GershaPorter.com. I got a great review. I'm trying to figure out how to move it to my other page by a client just recently who settled on her home, and she talked about the fact how exciting it is to own again. So, Black families, they coach with me when they're ready to silence the shame of no longer being a homeowner. I give you the confidence to go from stuck to unstoppable so that your mindset is healthy and you no longer are being held hostage. So, book a call with me so that I can help you to own again. And I'm just always tickled to be here every week, Wednesday at 5 o'clock. If you want to hear about some topics that I may not have covered, please do drop it in the chat or send me a message, and I'd love to be able to cover some things for you. Please do like and follow our Facebook group. If you follow us, you'll get notified when we go live, and you'll know more about some of the other things that we are involved in. So I really do appreciate you guys coming out today to join us as we talked about new and old homes. And I'm going to wish you an amazing rest of the week. Stay out of the way of the cicadas. You guys know I got a dog, Mellow. It is so hard to walk him now because he just grabs them out the air. So cicadas will be gone, I think, in about 2 to 3 more weeks, and we'll be super happy about that. So once again, thank you guys again for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, follow me on Instagram at Gersha Porter. Follow me on Facebook, Porter Premier Homes. And those of you who are interested in getting the tools and the mindset, the motivation, and the money to own a home again, please do join our Own Again Facebook page. Take care. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Play some music. See if I missed any comments. I'm going to switch over and look because I'm also on the page and Own Again. All right, I don't want to neglect anybody anywhere. So let's see. All right, I don't have any comments there, so I'm just going to let you guys go ahead out. I'll make sure to give you the information that I promised that I would, and I'll see you next week. Take care.